The final week of the Women's Premier League is set to be very highly anticipated, despite the fact that as of today, January 28th, there's not going to be a match take place. But the table as of now remains so tight that there is not a single team right now who has been officially ruled out of contention for the WPL playoffs. One team in the Royal Challengers Bengaluru have already qualified and look like they're going to be the favorites to actually make it directly into the finals, because right now they're on top, and if they get one more win, then they'll be the first and only team who can get to 12 points this year, which means they're guaranteed a spot in the final. There are two other teams who are currently occupying second and third, and that's Gujarat Giants and Mumbai Indians, who, as things stand, these two are the favorites to go through given points and of course net run rate as well. However, there are two other teams who are at the bottom of the table, and that is the Delhi Capitals and the UP Warriors, both of whom actually still have something of a chance of making it through to the playoffs. Why do I say that? Well, because mathematics suggests that both are very much in the reckoning. Let's take a look at how the table stands right now. You've got GG and MI who are in second and third right now, and both only need one win to pretty much be sure of their status. GG more so, because again, MI, even if they get that last win, will need other results going their way. And DC and UP Warriors are the two teams for whom things are tough, particularly, of course, UP Warriors, because their net run rate, as you can see, is minus 0.769, which is easily the worst among these two. Now, the advantage they have is that they still have 2 games in hand, as opposed to the other teams who only have 1 game apiece. Delhi, if they are to improve their net run rate, will need a big win in their final match to ensure that it can reach positives. And their final match, by the way, happens to be against none other than the UP Warriors. So that match, which is going to be one of the last games of the group stage, will be a direct qualifying shootout for both teams potentially. That is, of course, if UP Warriors can actually win their second last, their penultimate group stage game. Their penultimate group stage game, unfortunately, is up against the Royal Challengers Bengaluru, who, even though they've lost 2 on the trot, are a very strong team on paper and will be very motivated to get a victory, because if they get it, they get to 12 points and they are guaranteed a spot in the final. They can still make it to the final even without winning their last match, or if they lose narrowly, but they'll then be dependent on other teams not overhauling their current net run rate. As for UP Warriors, it is actually the toughest because they have 2 games, one against RCB, the other against DC, and truth be told, they need to win both those games, and they need both games to be won by a comfortable margin, because their net run rate right now is not very good. As things stand, GG can get to 10 points, which should guarantee their qualification. MI, DC and UP Warriors all can get to 8 points. So they'll need to ensure that their net run rate is healthy. That's true for all teams, and that's the advantage that MI have right now, because they have a positive net run rate. So it is very, very tight. And as I said, for UP Warriors, yes, they have opportunities because they have 2 games left, as opposed to DC, who've only got 1 game left. But for UP, they'll really need a big win against either the RCB side or the DC side to ensure that they are in a good position. For DC, even a narrow win should potentially be enough to keep them in contention, assuming, of course, that MI don't end up winning by too big a margin. So plenty of permutations and combinations still in the WPL, and right now, as I've said, the tournament very much in its infancy, and that's why you've got only 5 teams. But these 5 teams being so relatively evenly matched means that you have plenty of permutations and combinations in a positive sense, because right now no team is actually out of contention. Yes, for DC and UPW it's tougher, because again, they are in that sort of a situation because they've had a couple of bad losses in the past that's taken their net run rate down. But points wise, still very much possible, and could very well be a situation that a team is actually making it to the playoffs on the basis of NRR. So it's going to be that close, and the margins are going to be very fine. If you ask me, I think DC have it the best in that sense, because one match, if they win it either which way, it should be good enough for them to get their net run rate positive and also ensure that they are in 8 points, because again, they only need 1 win to get that. For UP Warriors, the math is a little tougher, but not entirely impossible. But you can let us know in the comments below what you think and which teams you believe are the favorites to qualify alongside an RCB, who are already guaranteed qualification. And don't forget, as always, to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X and Facebook, and stay tuned for more such updates from the world of sport.